Uh, Good morning, our dear listeners, and every person that is watching us. You might be watching us maybe from South Korea, from the United States, from Rwanda, from Uganda. Uh, Greetings to you, and thank you for watching. Now, today we are having a very interesting topic to talk about, to discuss about, and it is for the good of the parents and also for the good of the children. And the topic is about self-esteem. And yes, I'll be interacting with Manager Felix from Come Again Investments, and he's going to be taking us through self-esteem. So, Manager Felix, what is self-esteem, and what is also low self-esteem?
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Zua.
Yes.
Yes, by the name Felix Mugume, manager production or supervisor, Come Again Investments. Okay, so the self-esteem, briefly in a nutshell, it simply means one's worth. Yes, one's worth or one's value. So it is all about how we perceive ourselves or how you perceive yourself. That is the self-esteem. Yes, so that value that you perceive yourself into is what actually equates to being self-esteemed or self-esteem. Yeah, so the value you attach to yourself, how you perceive yourself, I mean, based on opinions, based on the community, or based on personal judgments. So that is the self-esteem. So that's where it rotates around. Yeah. So you talked about the low self-esteem. Of course, there are basically like three types of self-esteem. Of course, one being the high, then the other one being the low, and the other one being the healthy esteem. So the overly high esteem, now this in a modern understanding you can say it as being proud of yourself. Yeah. So you become actually extremely high overly yourself. You seem to be so relevant, but in actual sense, at some point we see this is also not good. Then the one that we can say the healthy one is of course where you're balanced now. Yes, your value matches what you do, matches the community, so it really equates to whatever you're going through.
Okay.
Then the low esteem now, this one deals with inferior. If you feel that inferiority within you, that is the low esteem. When you feel overly high inferior, you feel superior, that is the high, the high overly low esteem. Yeah, so we have to strike a balance and see that you actually have this moderate one, yes, or the healthy one now, where you're not overly high, superior, or you're not low. Yes.
Okay.
So that is it.
All right. Thank you so much, Manager Felix. Yeah. What are the causes of low self-esteem among young people? Because we have seen so many juveniles, so many adolescents who lack low self-esteem, in that sometimes they can't even give a speech in a meeting of like 6 people, just because they have low self-esteem. We have seen it whereby you are teaching a class of students, and then there's a certain guy that cannot express themselves in a class of like maybe 60 students. But they know what, they have the knowledge, they are wise, but when it comes to expressing themselves in front of others, they can't. And indeed, it has affected them so great. So, what are those causes of low self-esteem?
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, the low esteem now, it is when you start looking down on yourself. Yes, you start looking down on yourself and the abilities you have. That is the low esteem. And that low esteem usually is based on self-confidence. Yes, self-confidence. So you can directly translate it into self-confidence. So you're asking about the causes of low of self-confidence, in other words, or the lack of self-esteem. yes, we've seen this all times, all the way through, or through where we've been. But the causes are majorly attributed to lack of exposure most of the time. Yes, if someone is not exposed, it actually tends to bring out that inferiority compliment in someone, that inferiority element. So if you're not exposed, for instance, if you're not used, let's say, to debating, you're not used to interacting with people, you're not used maybe to, nowadays, of course, we know the internet is actually bringing out so much, the media. So if maybe you're this person that doesn't watch movies, those movies that need high critical thinking, yeah, so if you're not a people person, basically, trust me, you will have low self-esteem. Yeah. So you have, of course, this tends to affect you either way, whether you're a student, even if you're a grown-up man. Of course, you will go to a certain function, you actually don't give a speech. You just give 1-2 words. If you shy away, then you sit down. Even if it is a meeting like this, you can't make a presentation. Yes, the fact that you're not exposed. Exposure doesn't mean that maybe you're exposed to extremely bad things or to extremely negative things. No, there's this positive exposure where you maybe you're updated. Yes, with maybe the what's on trend. You're actually so curious. You as a person, you're curious to find out more, or let's say you're so much into maybe a researcher. You know, there are those inborn researchers. Yes, you can be a person who wants to find out why is this, why is this. So the moment you try to do that, you're opening up your mind, yes, to think outside the box. So even if someone lands on you and says, Mr. Gundi, how are you like this? You feel now you're comfortable talking to people. You've actually maybe you've been on internet or reading novels or what, you've at least gotten that experience, that feel that maybe someone has to do this. We've seen people failing on interviews just because of that low self-esteem. They ask you a question, the person knows the answer, but when expressing it is the problem now. The expression is the bit we're talking about. You could be with you may be with introverts, but of course that doesn't mean that being an introvert you lack self-esteem. Those two, they differ. Actually, most people tend to contradict the two, but they are different. They're different. So you can be an introvert, but when it comes to maybe the basics of exposure or the basics of esteem, of course you can have that balanced esteem on everyone. Yeah.
Okay.
So exposure, then being actually indoors most of the time. Yes, if you're not a people person, trust me, you will have low self-esteem because you have to be a team player. We learn from each other. Yes, we borrow these characters from one another. So the moment you're a person on your own, you're not maybe interactive, like you don't hang out with friends, or you want to be in your house on your PC, on your laptop, watching movies. Trust me, you have low self-esteem. Yeah. So the other thing maybe will be the lack of confidence, to boost actually the lack of guidance to boost that confidence. You can be having that element within you, but you lack someone to actually encourage you to say, go boy, you can do this, you can do it. So if you're lacking that force to push you, trust me, you will still remain with that low self-esteem. But the moment you have someone at your back saying you can, and we see that it either comes from friends, from your circles, or from the workplace, or from the parents themselves pushing you for something. If you're aspiring for greater horizons, you will have that self-esteem, which actually will be healthy.
That is very important, Manager Felix, because as these children grow up and then they become adults, we have seen some people, sometimes they are so afraid, even maybe to give speeches on their wedding meetings.
Sure.
Yeah, you are called upon and then maybe someone is so afraid to give a speech of like maybe 10 minutes or 8 on their wedding meeting just because it started from childhood.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the parents never knew what to do, the kid never knew what to do, and then it grew up like cancer. So you spoke about something whereby there are some people that, they have this I one. Yeah. The people that have this I one, what may be the causes of these people that have the high esteem and it's not healthy?
The overly high esteem type. Yeah, it is not healthy because For the causes of those, self-esteem, of course, as a child, most of the children, as they are being born, of course, that one has that element of esteem. Self-esteem is always there. Only that it lacks boosting. It lacks boosting. It lacks the guidance. It lacks someone to look or to be looking up to. So, to stretch it to now to the overly high self-esteem, what causes that? Most of the time we've seen this from this now comes back to the families most of the time, because someone may grow up from a poor background per se, then all of a sudden maybe along the way, along his career, now he interacts with a group of people who are not his class most of the time, who are way above his class. So by God's grace, if this person maybe God blesses him too in that regard. So when he comes back to his people, let's say he's interacting, the one of which would have been his category, now he, of course, he will act as the other class he was used to.
I understand.
So that will portray this overly the high self-esteem. That's why people will say you're proud. People will say, this guy is arrogant. That is the overly high self-esteem. Yes. Two, these people, some of them have grown from rich backgrounds, rich families, but then they lack the guidance to say, this is all vanity. I mean, this is all vanity. Yes, this will vanish. It will all end at once. So better work on yourself morally. So if that person lacks that career guidance or parental guidance in that regard, this person will grow up knowing that no one actually is poor. Will be like, whoever is poor, maybe God cast him or what. Actually, they tend not to face the reality of life. So if you grow up a child in that perspective, trust me, in the near future or in future, that will result into this overly high self-esteem. It'll be like, for us, we grew up when we were rich, so if you mention something like, I don't have 50k on me or 50 bob on me, like, well, how is that even possible? This is someone trying to underlook or underrate the situation. So they're just being kept on the side of the dark, not facing the reality in life. So the moment he comes to reality now, he sees it as maybe an abomination. You see it as maybe something that is a curse. It can't happen. So the moment you have that feeling, for you can't match anyone of your standard, trust me that you have that overly high self-esteem.
And you see, Manager Felix, regarding that, I've seen so many people that have missed so many opportunities because maybe they have that I one, and then some people look at them and they're like, so and so cannot do such a job, so and so cannot do such a work, you leave them alone.
Absolutely. That's what I was telling you. When you interact with a class that is not yours, when you come back to this ordinary class, you'll be like, I'm not worth this. And of course, everyone will judge you according to the way you present yourself. You get? That is the confidence. You get? That is the expression you've put. So that is the picture everyone will portray on you.
Okay.
You get? So even if there is a chance, one will be like, this guy, he can't work for 2 million. But when on the other side, the reality is hitting you, even like a job of 500. But one will be like, this guy, like his class, he can't work for even 2 million. But when you're facing hardships, but the fact that before you have that type of self-esteem which is overly high, no one can actually recommend you for anything below that. Because your standard is above or way the others. Yes. So that's what I was saying. It needs guidance so that you face the reality versus what you anticipate or what you think is right. So the moment you have that guidance, you will blend, you will finally find that you have lowered your esteem and it has become a healthy one. The good thing with that will be, you can't go way below, you can't go to low self-esteem because you will try to curb the other one down and you will strike a balance. So eventually you have that healthy one because you have experienced the higher one and still now you're trying to come back to experience the lowest self-esteem. So you will strike a balance amid this, and that will be a good one and you'll be good to go.
I really like that. Yeah. Having the ability to adjust.
Exactly.
Yeah. About low self-esteem, you spoke about low self-esteem. And I think one of the causes of low self-esteem, especially among young people, it is the conflicts that they have experienced among authority figures. For example, the father has a conflict with the mother.
Mm.
And maybe the family is breaking apart, and maybe at a certain point, you see the father has separated with the mother, and then the kid is living with the mother, or the kid is living with the father. So, in such instances, sometimes children grow up with low self-esteem. Because in that conflict, there are so many words that are being spoken about children coming from the authority figures. So, what is your say about that, especially to the parents? Because those things happen sometimes, but they have the children, even to their adulthood. You may say a person is like 40 years, but you know, when it began when he was like 6 years, the authority figures, you know, being in conflict. And then it continued up to when he was an adult.
Well, that is very true. But somehow, at some point, we are seeing now this is changing. Yeah, this is changing of late because the statistics show that the people that grow with maybe single parents tend to strive for more because they want now to achieve whatever they had failed to achieve at the earlier stages. Initially, it was actually a challenge, but now the fact that there is now this gender balance, you get, so what a woman can do, a man can do. What a man can do, a woman can do. So we have seen this actually bringing up a large number of enrollments of girls in school, going to school, learning with boys, studying with boys, and determined, of course, to challenge boys even. So that confidence alone is now what brings about the esteem.
Wow.
So if you have a parent who doesn't push for that at the back of her mind, yes, if for instance a dad separates with the mom, you stay with the mom then keeps lamenting, oh no, for us we are poor, we can never make it, I know I will never make it. Trust me, that is what your child is going to perceive. And that child will lack self-confidence. But like I said, now basing on the trends now, the women now want to see they want to see themselves also progressing. So the moment you empower this young kid, this young child, I mean, you may not empower her or him financially, but the moment you empower him with wisdom, with maybe the courage, that person will have self-belief. So that is what I told you at first. This is all actually, these relates are all around the self-worth. Yes, what you think you are, how much you are, how much you weigh. Yes, what's your worth? I mean, what is your excuse me, what is your measure? So if someone comes from such a background with that mindset of I will make it, trust me, this person will have that confidence in him or her
that they will make it.
They will make it. The fact that he has someone to push for it, either back from home, then as he interacts or she interacts with the friends, still they can say they believe in you or in her that she can make it. So that alone will boost that confidence to that level. So parents, of course, single parents, they still have a role to play, much as they still the partners or the couples that live together still have a role to play. All the same, it all goes back to boosting, pushing for that, encourage, guide, career guidance, that counseling. Yes, my child, you see, we are not well doing financially, but I believe one day we shall be there. As long as you don't do what? As long as you don't retrieve. As long as you keep progressing, we shall make it. You will make me a proud father. Once you say that, even if you're a parent, the kid will be like, well, my dad doesn't have money, but he believes in me. I will make him proud one day. Trust me, that child will grow up looking up to that. You'll be a father figure in his life, or a mother figure in her life. As in, you'll be looking at you now as her power, the engine behind her. Even if you don't provide money, let's say we have these children that come from poor backgrounds, but they have knowledge. They're excelling well in school and they're on bursaries. Yes, we have seen those people progressing. You know why? It's not all about money, but it's all about the words that their parents give. You know what, my child, it's the opportunity that we have. Study very hard so that you can make me your father or your mother proud. This alone boosts confidence in that child. Yeah. So that will, of course, increase the self-esteem of that child.
I think from that, I really understand that parents should never give up into speaking into the lives of their children. Those powerful words.
No way. Actually, at no point should a parent feel inconvenienced or embarrassed to talking, or the inconvenience to talk to the child that he or she has born. Because those words that you give to the child, they either determine the child will be blessed or will be a failure. And they speak a lot because whenever a child is going astray most of the time, he reflects on what the parents say.
Wow.
So to me, I believe parents, instead of cursing children, they should rather encourage them to do right things, advise them actually as mature people.
That is very important.
They should stop looking at children, as kids, but they should start looking at children as fellow people, fellow humans, fellow adults. Nowadays, we've seen children, I mean, they're so bright, even at the age of 3. So don't look at that child as a kid. Start speaking positive things to his life, to him. He will live knowing that I have to be an engineer. This is what it takes to be an engineer. I have to study hard. Of course, when I become an engineer, then I will take care of my parents. Who will then, maybe he doesn't want to know, or he doesn't know whether they will be rich or poor. But all he knows, all she knows is that the parents will be there and they will be providing. You get. So, by chance, if that person grows up, he will be looking now reflecting back at what the parents were saying. But we Africans have a tendency of now cursing our own children. Look at this person, you will live a miserable life, you will never make it. Of course, the child will lose confidence in it. Will be like, now, even if he's trying and things, so he'll be like, after all, my parents cursed me. After all, my mother said I won't make it. After all, my auntie said I'm a failure. But so if let's speak positivity in children's lives, so that will boost their confidence. That's all. That's all.
See, when you were speaking, there is something that came into my mind, that if parents, like in a month, can get like 3 weaknesses of their children, and then they start speaking positively so that they change those weaknesses into strength, I think it can do very well.
Sure, very well. Because that's what I was saying. When parents are speaking positive things, of course, parents are parents and they are white, they are good gifted. So a parent can, what a parent can see while seated, even if you stand up, you can't see it. There is that saying actually. Well, literally translated into Luganda, omukulu chalaba tudde whenever we meet okolachi. Actually, they're literally talking about the experience now. That parent has the experience. He has seen many people of your age, maybe, of the same characters, maybe. So, if this parent is speaking positive things in your life, of course, he's trying to challenge the negative energy that you've been having. But of course, he's not opening it up to you. Even if you're a darling, that parent will say, no, you have to go to school next time. You will make it. We shall change the school, but I know you will make it. That confidence alone. So the child will say, maybe now that I've changed the school, the other school is performing poor, let me try to perform better in this new school. You get? But the moment the parents start speaking about the negatives only, you failed, you will stop in P3, I won't waste my money anymore. So the child will lose confidence, of course. Even if at the time he makes it or she makes it and excels, you'll be like, after all, my parents maybe didn't like me. After all, I don't see whom I'm struggling for. You get? So remember, in the levels of education, they differ. Because you can see the primary level, maybe you can perform poorly. When you go to secondary, senior 1, senior 2, you perform poorly. Senior 3, senior 4, you pull up, you excel. Senior 6, you excel. Campus, you may still maybe average, excel. Or you can start up being a success, being successful, P1, P7, number 1, senior 1, senior 4, you perform poorly, and even fail to go to HC. You've seen those ones. But it all comes back now to the guidance of the parents. Yes. Because now, excuse me, when you substitute into the other one, the overly self-esteem. So if you are trying to resonate it with now the failure the person has been performing from P1 to P7, then to senior 4 he failed. Just know somewhere there is overly that high self-esteem that caused that. He was overconfident that me,
it is
that is just a game. Eventually things turned out, so actually he faced the reality now. That's what I was saying at first. What you think and what is happening, if those two are different, trust me, you actually be challenged in life. And if you find that you're on the other side now of the overly high esteem, you will be so disappointed. We have seen many people actually committing suicide. It's just the mere disappointment because you didn't expect it. You're starting up a business for it is just profits only. The moment you make a loss of even 100,000, you want to run mad. You get because for you're not used to those experiences. So basically, that will challenge you. So the self-esteem that is healthy is the one now that is average.
Manager Felix, and this is very important where we are going now. It is very important. We need to speak about how low self-esteem has affected the young children, so that the parents know how deep it can really affect their children, so that they start working it up from the young age, because some of them, they have got to be redundant about that subject. But if they understand the effects of it, how deep they can go, maybe they can wake up and maybe start taking it as a project.
True. Actually, the best way how to overcome that low self-esteem, because like I told you, we are seeing mostly these kids when they're growing up, they are vocal. Mommy this, even if you're in public, she speaks of anything. I mean, because she's confident already. So it is now the parents that downplay these children and cause their low self-esteem. The child is saying something, you're not taking the child to say anything. So you're just letting you're suppressing the child, and you're actually damaging her emotionally. You get, so she's like, this is bad. You're not allowing her to express herself. Like we said, it all comes from self-expression. The confidence you build, or the confidence that you have within you, that's when you determine your worth. So a child is saying something, but you're just blasting the child not to speak. You don't want to reason with the child, you just only want to challenge the child. Maybe, but you're challenging negatively. You can challenge the child while you're somehow debating on certain things. Much as the child you see is wrong, but you can challenge him meanwhile guiding or advising him or advising her. But the moment you actually suppress her or try to maybe back at him or her, trust me, you're already now bullying him. And you know, the days we are studying in school, in high school, in secondary school, there was that form of bullying. You come from your P7, you know you've excelled, you're bright, you're okay. You reach at school in the senior one, they bully you to the extent that really feel like you want to go back home. That alone causes lack of what? Self-esteem. So now we actually bring it back at that young age now. You're bullying the child already. You're bullying him or her, the child is lacking confidence now. You can't express, even if the child is maybe, now we've seen where kids are being molested even. If your child is not confident enough, she will not tell you, because she knows even if she tells you,
you're going to just suppress.
You will either object in the first place, maybe you will not give her an ear to listen, you will actually challenge, maybe you will beat her even, or you beat him. So that is why mostly these ladies have taken advantage of these kids that actually having that low self-esteem. But as parents, they have a role to play by boosting that, talking to their children, allowing their children maybe to hang out with people. Of course, depending on the morals now, they can hang out with fellow kids, maybe at play centers. They interact freely. You get. Yes, allow you, maybe the children they have to meditate. Yes, to meditate now themselves. Being done, maybe try to open their minds to think critically. Yes. So then we are saying letting them recognize their strength, and still you also recognize their strength and weaknesses as you guide them. So the moment you know your strength, of course you have to. The moment you know your weaknesses, you have to find the strength now, because they say the strength of the chain lies in the weakest links.
Because I requested you to talk about the effects of low self-esteem, and as you're explaining, I got a point that one of them can be trauma.
Yes, there's that trauma that it causes. There's that trauma that causes because the children will be disappointed in their life, traumatized all the time. Be like, really, now like me. Actually, we even fearing to speak of anything.
There is the news I saw on TV. I think it was last year. There is a P7 pupil that waited for the results. They came back. I think it was this year, the beginning of this year. And when they came up, she had performed not good. She had got 23 points. That is in P7. And he was like, my parents, they are going to respond to me very bad. And the kid ended up, committing suicide, hanging herself on the tree, because the kid knows that even though she expresses herself to you, you are going to just suppress, is having that low self-esteem because of the authority figures.
Yes.
So sometimes it can bring these kids to commit suicide when you don't know. But if you have taken initiative to improve their self-esteem in the ways we have discussed, they cannot do that.
Yeah, actually that is very true. We've seen this several, most people saying, actually testifying, they tried to commit suicide had it not been maybe Mr. Ziwa. So now this takes us back on how to improve your self-esteem. Seek positive relationships. Mitigate. Seek company. Seek associations.
I understand.
The moment you're with people, those suicidal thoughts can't come around your mind. Even if it comes around, these people that you're having, we'll be encouraging, you'll be seeing only the bright things now. So it depends on the people that you associate with. Excuse me. And the other thing will be, you have to learn to be assertive most of the time. You have to learn to be assertive. You don't be a puppet. You don't be a person that like doesn't reason. So if you say no, it is a no. You have reasons as to why you said no. If it is a yes, it is a yes. You have reasons as to why you said yes. But we've seen, like I said, it all comes back from your childhood days. Because the parents maybe suppressed you. They actually were backing at you. They didn't give you that chance of expressing yourself. If you say maybe today don't want to eat food, you'll be beaten to death because you have to eat. So you'll be forced to eat. You have no other option. Since you can't maybe give your issues why. Maybe it makes your stomach full, or it bulges your stomach, or something of such sort. The moment you don't give room for self-expression, it breeds this low self-esteem. And this will affect someone even in the future, because the impact will be, this person will always be challenged at all times. Even if he has a challenge, he will never open up to someone, because he lacks the confidence to relay whatever he has to anyone. He will feel afraid to open up to anyone, even if he has maybe a situation that is going through. That is why most of these people have ended up now actually dying. Either taking poison because they see that it's the only shortcut they are having at the moment. Either killing themselves, that is the only option available. We've seen people going abroad even without the notice of their parents, not notifying them, because you didn't give them a chance from the start. So they feel like they shouldn't tell you even, because they're always traumatized now. They still have that feeling that even if I tell the parent, will challenge me. The parent will not resonate with me. Maybe the parent sold their land to give him capital, and the capital is maybe getting finished and there's no returns. He decides to fly out to get. So all those things, even if you go out and do what, but still without that, you don't have that confidence in you, you still come back. If you come to face the reality, you will be equally challenged.
That is very important.
That is it.
That is very important. Now, Manager Felix, what is the role of the parents in ensuring that their children have that self-esteem? What is the role of the parents? Because they have a role to play. As well as the kids have a role to play, even the parents have a role to play.
Okay, like I was mentioning, it's true, parents still have, actually they have a major role to play, not a role to play, but they have a major role to play. Yeah? Excuse me. Personally, when I was growing up, I used to resonate with my dad very well. Yeah, I would sit there, ask me, how is school? Yeah, you're performing good, but you need to keep it up then, or you need to improve. So, what am I trying to say here? Parents, the first thing they should do, give their children time to listen to them. Those young kids, by the way, can reason. They can argue. They can argue something wrong, but still give them an ear. Challenge them wisely. Guide them. So that alone, if a child is opening to you as a parent, you have watched a difference with that child. He doesn't want to know. But that alone will breed confidence in that child. That alone will boost their self-esteem. If he can talk to you openly, why not the uncle, your brother? Why not the auntie, the singers? I mean, but if you're that tradition of maybe doesn't speak with all the people, doesn't sit where all people are, that alone, you're actually already tormenting the child now. Because the child will be, there will be that generational gap, first of all. So the parents, a major role they have to do is just to close that generational gap. So if that generational gap is closed, the kid will free interact with the auntie, will free interact with the maid, will free interact. How are you? I'm alright. Where do you school from here? But you're this kind of parent who comes with the co-work or the workmates, and you send out the children, you go and play outside, not be here around here. So the child will grow knowing, I live within my circles, that's why I speak freely. When my parents are home or they are visitors, I can't even come close. I only speak to the maid when my parents have gone to work. That is she's my friend. The other ones I don't know, just see them as parents. Trust me, the parents still have a role to play, and that is the major role. Give their child leveled grounds, to listen to them and talk to them, advise them, guide them. Simple.
That is very important.
That is it. But the moment you sabotage all that, you're already spoiling the game.
Alright. What about another thing that the parents should do?
And the parents actually should allow their kids to be exposed positively. Yeah, should allow their kids to be exposed positively. Nowadays, like you've seen, we've had these kid festivals. What? The moment a child sees maybe a fellow kid is performing on the stage, at the same time there are adults that are performing on the stage, maybe they are debating, you'll be like, wow. If the moment he admires that, he develops interest in that. Of course, now as a parent, now you come back to guide on how it will lead to that. What are the ways that he or she should follow in regards to achieving that. Then the other thing is allow kids or children to meditate. That meditation is so much important because it tends to reflect on someone's abilities now. Person will have to explore his body or himself or herself to see what could be the strengths that are underlying, that are within, that he or she doesn't know. This will look at maybe the potentials, the skills, you know. So if you've seen a child having a skill, let the child utilize the skill. Yes. Okay. Because, for instance, if maybe these sportsmen and women, if they were not allowed chances to explore their talents at a young age or their skills, and we've seen these people when they go out abroad there, they participate in races, the cameras are before them, then they have to speak about themselves. So for you, didn't allow the child to have that exposure before, do you expect that to happen? No way, it cannot. We've seen so many people even fearing cameras. I mean, we are seeing news reporters in the field, but the moment they bring a camera close to a woman or a man, he shies out or runs away. That person is not exposed at all.
Yet that was an opportunity for them to express themselves.
Exactly. But the fact that maybe they're not brought up well, they didn't know what to do. Yeah, so eventually you find that everything now is actually turned into a joke.
Wow.
Yeah, so parents that have that role to play, and they should practice also actually these mindset games maybe. Try to interact with the children. Like I said, the discussions you're having with the child. For of course, when you know the mindset of the child, so you just bring up a random topic, you engage the discussion with the kids. You speak, they reason you out, you argue. That alone is exposure.
You love to get
that alone is exposure. Even if tomorrow the kids go back to school, they will challenge the teacher, be like, but my dad told me this. Your daddy told you this. Yeah, my dad told me this, but it is like this. So the kid in the evening will come back. Daddy, you told me the last time we were arguing about this. We are like, okay. But when I went to school, the teacher told me this. So, hey, wow, the teacher is right. Now that alone, the child will go, wow, you see? If he hadn't brought it back to you, of course, you wouldn't have understood or even maybe have taken it serious.
Understand.
So give leveled grounds. Meditate with the children, give them those positive vibes, a positive mindset, interact with them freely. That alone will boost confidence in children.
You know, Manager Felix, there is something that that is also important. I think the parents also should teach and encourage their children to make choices as a way of boosting their self-esteem. For example, there are times when we used to have some Christmas, and sometimes you see some parents, they go to the shop, they go to the supermarkets, and for them they just make maybe an order for the sodas without inquiring from the children. Maybe they make Coca-Cola throughout, and they leave the children. But maybe the good thing would have been you come to the children, you inquire from them, what type of soda do you want? Do you want Fanta? Do you want Mirinda? Confidence in the choices they make. You take a kid to the market, and then you let the kid choose maybe the trouser they want, the dress they want, not because you can't choose for them, but because you are teaching them how to make independent choices. Because we have seen so many people in their adult stage whereby they don't have confidence in the decisions they make. You get? For example, some ladies, a man comes and maybe proposes to them, but because from childhood they were not taught to make decisions, they have to make a call to mommy. Mommy, so and so proposed. Is this and this? Can I accept? Because even up to that stage, they don't have confidence in the choices they make.
Yeah, of course, this relates to what I was saying earlier on. It all comes back to expression. Give a leveled ground for expression. If a child expresses, like I said, you engage into a discussion. I would want this. I would want that, but I don't think it will work out. What if you try this? No, I want this. Give that child liberty to meditate on his or her abilities or whatever he wants or whatever skill is. If someone is making a choice, like I said, if it is being brought up in a conversation, advise, guide. For you as a parent, you know the mindset of the person you're interacting with at the back of your mind. So you will guide accordingly. You know, Daddy, I want soda. You tell this person, you know, would want soda. It is very free one soda, but you know soda contains a lot of maybe nutrients which are unhealthy. So excessive consumption may cause you problems, right? If you're not sure. You know, so this instead of taking this soda, let us make juice. What do you think? Be like, you know, I would juice what? Because okay, you know what? You're going to take one soda, then instead of taking the second soda, we shall buy juice. Okay. So that alone, that you see, you brought it up, but while interacting, you've seen what the child wants, you made a choice, you know. So you've let that child express free whatever he or she felt. So still, even as time goes on, the person will be knowing, because you'll be chatting maybe as a girl grows up. Then you engage discussions as well. You know, yeah, daddy have a boyfriend, or mommy have a boyfriend. How is he like? You know, well, it's not that so much, like that and that. So, but I like him. Okay, ask how are you? Do you feel contented with being with him? You know. So, of course, like we say, the moment you're interacting with this child, I don't think you'll have that time to call you back. You know, I've gotten another one. What should I do? Because she already knows what she wants. And she already knows what you want also as a parent. Maybe you only wish her to be happy. That's all. So even if she calls you, be like, as long as you're happy, the rest is yours. So this child trust me will take a decision without informing you. Wow. The next thing you will hear will be like, Daddy, this boy wants to come home to see you as my parent. Simple. Wow. Because you allowed the child to express herself in the first place. So she set conditions before this man of what she likes and what she doesn't like. Maybe she saw this was the man of her time. So she has decided that is it. There's no now requiring from the parents, I've gotten this. So all I'm saying in a nutshell, parents should give a level to ground to their children, have that mutual discussion, let them engage their children on a private basis, or let them give children time, listen to them, advise them, interact with them. Right. You will get what you want as a parent, and the child will get what you expect of him or her in the future. Because it is today that determines tomorrow or the future. Okay. So the moment you don't shape the person today, tomorrow, trust me, he will be shapeless. Yeah, so of course, like you said, that was the first thing have to come up.
I like that quote. When you don't shape a person today, tomorrow is going to be shapeless. Wow.
Be shapeless.
That is very important.
You will have lost focus now. You will not know what he or she wants. So as parents, they should constantly talk to their children at all levels, by the way. Ranging from maybe year 3 up to being an adult. As a parent, even if you have an old gentleman or an old boy of about 18, 20, you can call this gentleman, you know what, my boy, let's walk around as man to man. You go interact with the child. Yes, in the free space, maybe let me take you out. You know? I'm taking you for a treat. Oh my God, let me take you out. Let us go to this fancy hotel and we'll see. Taste the food. There we'll have a discussion, trust me. So there is no